Welcome to one of the most mysterious and majestic countries in the world, the People's Republic of China. This is a country where ancient wisdom is harmoniously combined with high technology, where every step is a meeting with centuries-old history, vibrant culture, and unique natural beauty. Let's go on a journey to the heart of Asia. China, an ancient civilization living in the rhythm of modernity. China is the third largest country in the world by area, the most populous nation on the planet, with more than 1.4 billion inhabitants. Its capital is Beijing, and megacities such as Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen set the pace for global progress. At the same time, deep in the mountains, or among the green rice terraces, the spirit of an ancient empire remains. The People's Republic of China is one of the oldest and largest countries in the world. Occupying a large part of East Asia, China encompasses an impressive variety of climates, natural landscapes, languages, and cultures. It is a country with a history of more than 5,000 years that is deeply intertwined with global civilization. From ancient imperial dynasties to the innovations of the modern era, China has been shaped by numerous factors, and is now one of the world's leading powers. Geography and nature of China. The nature of China is striking in its contrasts. The southern subtropics with bamboo groves give way to the mountain peaks of Tibet. In the north, there are deserts, in the west mountain ranges, and in the east the coast of the Yellow and East China Seas. China stretches from northeast to southwest for more than 5,000 kilometers. Its territory covers mountains, deserts, rivers, lakes, jungles, and tropical islands. In the north of the country, there is the Gobi Desert and the Manchurian Plains, where winters are cold and summers are short. The central part is fertile and populated, with the Yangtze and Huanghe rivers deltas, on which great cities and civilizations were built. Southern China is tropical, green and humid, with palm trees, rice paddies and limestone mountains. China has one of the most diverse ecosystems. In the south, there are panda reserves where the country's symbol, the great panda, lives. In the mountains of Tibet, there are snow leopards, yaks, and mountain eagles. And in tropical Hainan, there are coral reefs and palm-lined coasts. China actively protects its natural heritage. There are more than 2,700 nature reserves. China's nature is a mosaic of amazing landscapes. From the snow-capped mountains of Tibet to the southern subtropical jungle, from the Taklamakan Desert to the rice terraces of Yunnan Province, each region has its own unique flavor. In the north are the Altai Mountains and the Great Plains of China. In the center, there are mountain ranges, lakes, valleys, and forests covered in fog. The southern regions are green banana plantations, rivers with limestone mountains, and extremely rich fauna. The giant panda, a symbol of China, lives here. To the west is the Tibetan Plateau, known as the roof of the world, where one of the holiest lakes, Namtso, is located, as well as the highest mountain in the world, Everest Chomolungma, on the Chinese side. History, from legends to empires. China is one of the oldest civilizations in the world. The Bronze Age, the Shang and Zhou dynasties, the Qin and Han eras, the Great Wall, the Silk Road, the Mongol invasion, and the Ming Empire all shaped the face of modern China. Chinese civilization dates back to the 3rd millennium BC with the Xia, Shang, and Zhou dynasties. The Qin Empire, which unified China in 221 BC, laid the foundation for a centralized state, which was continued by the Han, Tang, Song, Yuan, Ming, and Qing dynasties. Each of the dynasties left a unique cultural heritage. China gave the world paper, the compass, gunpowder, and printing, 4 great inventions that changed the course of history. The philosophies of Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism became the spiritual core of Chinese society. The Great Wall, imperial palaces, terracotta army, canals and temples are just some of the traces of the past that fascinate millions of tourists every year. Historical monuments and architecture. The Great Wall of China, the Forbidden City, the Temple of Heaven, the Terracotta Army in Lebanon, the Longmen Temple. Each of these monuments is a window into the past greatness of Chinese civilization. Chinese architecture is the embodiment of harmony between man, nature, and the universe. In its traditional forms, it is based on the concepts of feng shui, symmetry, orientation to the cardinal points, and the use of natural materials. Palaces and imperial complexes. The main feature is symmetry, high red walls, carved gates, wide courtyards, and golden roofs. Examples include the Forbidden City, the Summer Palace in Beijing, and the Imperial Palace in Shenyang. Buddhist temples and pagodas are magnificent examples of sacred architecture, such as the Pagoda of the Six Harmonies in Hangzhou, Yonggang Caves with monumental Buddha statues. Fortresses and walls. The Great Wall of China, the ancient city wall in Lebanon, Pingyao Fortress, the embodiment of military engineering. Gardens and pavilions. A special place in Chinese culture is occupied by classical gardens, such as the Garden of the Modest Official in Suzhou, or the Imperial Garden in the Forbidden City. They combine architecture, water, stones, and vegetation in a philosophical unity. Traditional dwellings. Zahewan, Tulu. Zahewan are courtyards with an inner garden that formed family nests. In Beijing, Tulu are round mud fortresses in the south that housed entire families. Bridges and towers include ancient bridges with arches like the Lugo Bridge, signal towers, and defense towers. They have not only functional, but also aesthetic value. Cities built in accordance with cosmology. Many ancient capitals Chang'an, Luoyang, Beijing were planned according to the idea of the harmony of heaven and earth, with a central axis, a palace in the center, and grid-like streets. Modern architecture. Today, China is a world leader in innovative architecture. In megacities such as Shanghai, Shenzhen, and Guangzhou, unique buildings by famous architects are appearing: tornado towers, flowing forms in the Zaha Hadid style, cities of the future with ecological solutions. Striking examples are the Shanghai Tower 632M, the China Central Television Center CCTV in Beijing, and Daxing International Airport. China is a world in itself. China is not just a country, but a whole world that impresses with its depth, ancient wisdom, and amazing modernity. Millennia-old traditions and the latest achievements, fabulous nature and dynamic megacities, majestic architecture of antiquity, and high-tech of the future are intertwined here. In this country, you can get lost between time and space. At a glance, you can see the traces of ancient empires and the light installations of futuristic skyscrapers. History and culture. Chinese culture is about tea ceremonies, martial arts, calligraphy, the philosophy of Confucius and Lao Tzu, Chinese New Year celebrations, colored dragons and red lanterns. The history of China spans more than 5,000 years of uninterrupted civilization. This country has given the world paper, compass, printing, gunpowder, and many other discoveries that have become the drivers of human progress. Each dynasty that ruled China left a deep mark in language, art, philosophy, and architecture. Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism became the foundations of the Chinese worldview, shaping its moral principles and cultural traditions. National holidays, such as Chinese New Year, Spring Festival, and Mid-Autumn Festival, are accompanied by colorful rituals, dragon dances, lantern lighting, and rich feasts. The Chinese are an extremely hard-working, patient and family-oriented people. They place great importance on education, respect for elders, and harmony with nature and society. Holidays and traditions. The most important holiday is the Chinese New Year, or Spring Festival. It is celebrated for 15 days with fireworks, red lanterns, dragon dances, and family feasts. Other traditional holidays, The Dragon Boat Festival is a water-based competition and a celebration of the poet Kui Yuan. The Mid-Autumn Festival is a festival of contemplation of the full moon and eating moon cakes. The Festival of the Spirits is a celebration of ancestors and the tradition of lighting lanterns. The Chinese keep alive the traditions of tea ceremonies, calligraphy, martial arts wushu, kung fu, and health practices qigong, taijiquan. Modern China and technology. Today, China is a leader in high technology, space exploration, and artificial intelligence. Its cities are growing at a frantic pace, while maintaining their cultural identity and environmental responsibility. It is one of the world's fastest-growing technology nations, setting trends in artificial intelligence, 5G, financial technology, smart cities, and space exploration. Thanks to strategic government investments in science and innovation, the country has become a giant in the high-tech industry. Internet and digital society. China is a world where cash has almost disappeared. Alipay and WeChat Pay allow you to pay for everything from a cup of tea to a bicycle rental with a single swipe of your smartphone. Smart cities like Shenzhen are already being driven by artificial intelligence, face recognition systems, smart traffic lights, and real-time environmental monitoring. Space program. China is rapidly increasing its presence in space. Missions to the Moon, e.g., Chang'e 5, Mars Exploration Tianwen-1 mission, and its own Tiangong space station are not fiction, but the reality of modern China. Technological megacities. Cities such as Hangzhou, home of Alibaba, or Shenzhen, the country's main technology park, have become a showcase of the future. Autonomous taxis, 6G communication, unmanned delivery drones, and quantum cryptography are being tested here. Education and science. Chinese universities are included in global rankings, research centers attract foreign specialists, and science in China is increasingly focused on breakthroughs, from genetic engineering to green energy. Environmental transformation. China is also leading the way in the transition to clean technologies. The country is the world's largest producer of solar panels, wind turbines, and electric vehicles. There are more and more electric buses and charging stations in cities, and government programs include carbon neutrality goals by 2060. Thus, China today is not only the keeper of millennial wisdom, but also a laboratory for the future. The combination of ancient traditions with the technologies of the future makes it a unique example of the harmony of change and continuity. Interesting places. It's time to hit the road. You can't miss Zhangjiajie National Park, which inspired the movie Avatar, the picturesque River in Guangxi, the Silk Road in the Gobi Desert, Mount Amei, or the tranquil West Lake in Hangzhou. China is a real treasure trove for travelers, as the country impresses with a number of unique and impressive places. They are located both in large metropolitan areas and in the most remote corners of the country. Below is a more detailed description of the most interesting and iconic places to see in China. 1. The Great Wall of China is one of the most famous architectural structures in the world, stretching over 21,000 kilometers across northern China. Built to protect against nomadic attacks, the wall is now a symbol of strength, resilience, and deep history. The most popular sections to visit are Beideling, Mutianyu, and Jinshanling. 2. Forbidden City, Beijing, residence of the Chinese emperors of the Ming and Qing dynasties. It is the largest palace complex in the world, with more than 980 buildings. Here you can see amazing architecture, imperial gardens, throne rooms, and unique museum exhibits. Terracotta Army Lebanon, a unique archaeological complex consisting of thousands of clay warriors, horses and chariots created to guard Emperor Qin Shi Huang after his death. Each figure has individual facial features, and it is a true miracle of ancient art. 4. Zhangjiajie National Park, Hunan Province, inspiration for the floating mountains in the movie Avatar. This place is known for its huge stone columns that rise high into the sky, forests that envelop the mountains, and a glass bridge that flies over a deep gorge. 5. Huangshan Mountains. Yellow Mountains, one of the most photographed landscapes in China. The mountain peaks are covered with clouds, ancient pine trees grow on their slopes, and the sunrises in these mountains look truly magical. 6. West Lake Hangzhou. This place is sung by poets and depicted in Chinese landscapes. A boat ride on the lake offers views of pagodas, bridges, flowering gardens, and tea plantations. 7. Mount Amei, and the Big Buddha, in Liqian, Sichuan Province. Mount Amei is one of the 4 sacred mountains of Buddhism in China, with ancient monasteries and lush nature. Nearby is a giant Buddha over 71 meters high, carved into the rock more than 1,000 years ago. Silk Road. Gobi Desert, Dunhuang. This ancient trade route passed through China and connected it with Central Asia, the Middle East and Europe. Here you can see the Mogao caves with wall murals, caravanserais, dunes and oases. 9. Huanshuan Village, and Yixian County, Anhui Province. Ideal examples of traditional architecture of the Ming and Qing eras. Narrow streets, old houses, ponds reflecting the roofs with raised edges. These villages look like living paintings. 10. Suzhou and its gardens. The city of Suzhou is famous for its classical Chinese gardens, which were created for meditation and contemplation. The most famous of them are the Garden of the Modest Official and the Garden of the Net Master. 11. Guilin and the Li River. Incredible limestone hills, green rice terraces, traditional villages on the water and picturesque landscapes. A boat trip on the Li River is one of the most famous excursions in South China. 12. Shanghai's Bund and Pudong skyscrapers. A combination of European colonial architecture and ultra-modern skyscrapers. This is the face of modern China, challenging time and technology. These places are just the tip of the iceberg. China is full of hidden treasures, and each region has its own special character, traditions, language, accents, cuisine and culture. Traveling in China, everyone can find something unforgettable. China is a country that leaves no one indifferent. It impresses with its diversity and depth, where every corner is a separate story, every city is a separate era. Traveling in China is a journey through millennia, cultural worlds, landscapes and philosophical discoveries. And this is its magic. China is a country that cannot be fully explored in one trip. But once you take the first step, you won't be able to stop. Subscribe, like and leave a comment. What place in China do you want to visit first?